Daniel, we're hearing that this is a political trial from Mr. Navalny's supporters. What is the general feeling across Russia?
I don't think you can generalise about the feeling across Russia, not least of all because most people here get their news from state-controlled television, and Alexei Navalny doesn't really get access to the airways of state-controlled television, and what access they get is obviously carefully tailored by those who present those news bulletins. But there is a core group in Russia, mostly young people, people who use the internet for their news rather than state-controlled television, and many of them do find Alexei Navalny to be an important figure for them, a person who speaks to a degree for many of them about their concerns about corruption in the political establishment, and to a degree about their concerns about their future here, how there's a lack of opportunities that are outside the state-controlled areas, which many people feel uncomfortable with. So here is a man who coined the famous phrase, the party of crooks and thieves, to describe the ruling party in United Russia, who only really became well known 4 or 5 years ago, who's burned very brightly in the last couple of years through the protest years, and then an investigation into him which had been abandoned, was found to have no evidence against him, was suddenly brought back to life by the investigative committee here in Moscow. That's the equivalent of the FBI. Suddenly he was being questioned again about these allegations he'd been effectively cleared of and put on trial, and that is why he and many of his supporters believe that this was a politically motivated prosecution, and they say that the evidence against him was effectively manufactured and that he has only been put on trial because the government think he's a threat.
OK, Daniel Sanford in Moscow, thank you very much indeed. In fact, of course, Alexei Navalny's supporters say that they will continue campaigning for him even if he now goes to jail. South Africa's first post-apartheid president, Nelson Mandela, turns 95 today. He remained in hospital where he's been fighting a lung infection for the past 5 weeks.